The time had reached late afternoon. Tama and Annette were working very hard together to pull the coffin containing Sensei. This made Tama very upset, and she told Sensei to walk on his own feet. But there was no response from Sensei. Tama became worried that Sensei might actually be dead. However, Annette could see Sensei's status and said that Sensei was just resting in peace. Finally, they arrived in the city. Tama woke Sensei up, and Sensei got up and came out of the coffin. Sensei looked around, observing that the other world was not so bad. Annette then invited Sensei to go to the palace to meet the king. At Roth Palace, the king received them. King Roth, whose name was Thomas, and his eldest daughter, Charlotte, greeted them warmly. The king knew they must be exhausted, so he allowed them to stay overnight in the palace's bedrooms. Tama and Annette greatly appreciated this and thanked the king sincerely. But the king had one condition. Because he loved adventurous stories, he wanted to hear a beautiful tale of their journey. Sensei then replied that he would tell what it felt like to sleep in a coffin. The king felt that Sensei was threatening him. Seeing this, Annette tried to change the subject. She said that Charlotte was very beautiful. Then the king shared that Charlotte would soon be getting married and wanted to ask Sensei and his friends for advice. The king then summoned two of Charlotte's suitors. Gomez, the valiant warrior, a tall big man wearing a mask and armor, and Otto, the wandering minstrel of love, with a harp in his hands. The king lamented that perhaps due to the demon king's wrath, monsters had been rampant lately, but he was too old to deal with it. Therefore, he wanted to choose one of them as Charlotte's spouse and the next king. Charlotte was still unsure whom to choose, so she asked Sensei and his friends for advice on who would be a suitable match for her. The king eagerly awaited Sensei and his friends' answer. Sensei firmly replied, "How should I know?" According to him, it was an important choice for Charlotte's future, and it was not appropriate to ask adventurers like them, who had just arrived that day. Sensei also said he was unfit to be a king. Of course, the king was very shocked to hear this, as were Annette and Tama, who could only gape as they watched Sensei leave. Annette and Tama immediately apologized and told the king that Sensei was an otherworlder. The king forgave and understood him. As Sensei left, Charlotte watched him from afar. Night fell. Sensei and Annette were seen preparing to sleep. However, Sensei remained awake, looking out the window. Annette then asked Sensei if he couldn't sleep. Sensei replied that he had never been able to sleep well. Then, shyly, Annette asked who Sakshin really was. Sensei did not answer, and the atmosphere turned silent. Suddenly, a cat's tail was seen wagging, sticking out from Sensei's bed. Annette immediately uncovered Sensei's blanket and saw that Tama was sleeping soundly in Sensei's lap. Annette became furious with Tama, saying that it was embarrassing. Tama defended herself by saying she felt cold, and that was what her species usually did to get warmth. The two continued to argue. Sensei decided to leave his room and walk down the corridor. Unintentionally, Sensei encountered Charlotte, who seemed to be enjoying the nighttime scenery. He greeted her, and Charlotte welcomed him. Charlotte said she was currently looking at the vast and beautiful lake before her. Sensei remarked that it was such a beautiful view that it made him want to drown himself. Hearing this, Charlotte was very shocked. She thought Sensei had very serious problems to think that way. But Sensei then replied that it seemed like Charlotte had bigger problems than he did right now. Charlotte fell silent, then said she still couldn't choose between Gomez and Otto. Gomez had come to the castle not long ago, but he immediately became the most relied upon soldier among the others. The king trusted Gomez's strength. Hence, perhaps for that reason, Charlotte should choose him. However, Otto was her childhood friend. Whenever Charlotte felt sad, Otto would write a song and come to sing it for her. Charlotte was very confused about whom to choose. Hearing this, Sensei chuckled. He remarked that Charlotte, unlike himself, was a very kind-hearted girl who cared deeply for her father. Sensei shared that his life had always been problematic. He had tried to commit suicide and double suicide several times, which greatly troubled his father and family. However, Sensei never once told anyone else to choose how he should live his life. Charlotte was surprised by what Sensei revealed. As he was leaving, Sensei suggested that Charlotte should choose for herself what she wanted to pursue. The next morning, the king invited Sensei, Annette, and Tama back to see him. Gomez and Otto were already there. They were invited because Charlotte had finally decided who she would marry. So, the king wanted Sensei and his friends to be witnesses. Annette then predicted that Charlotte would choose Gomez if she considered the kingdom's future. Meanwhile, Tama believed Otto was a more suitable match for Charlotte. The king then ordered Charlotte to walk toward the man she had chosen and say her vows. Charlotte started to move away from the king and began walking. She said she had asked herself what she wanted and had now made her decision. Holding Sensei's hand, Charlotte declared that her choice was to commit double suicide with Sensei. Of course, the king was very shocked, as were everyone else there. Even Annette fainted immediately. They could not believe what they heard. Charlotte explained that after talking with Sensei the previous night, she realized something. Whenever Charlotte felt sad, Otto would write a song and come to sing it for her. But upon remembering, he also came when Charlotte was not feeling sad. He made a ruckus all night, even the previous night. Charlotte believed he just wanted to show off his newest song to someone. Otto only smiled slightly upon hearing this. Then Charlotte also said she couldn't marry Gomez either because he smelled a bit. Gomez looked shocked. The king then ran towards Charlotte, telling her to choose her husband. Charlotte angrily said that her father was a fool. Why was he forcing her to marry someone without asking for her opinion first? In fact, Charlotte did not want to get married right now, and in the end, no one cared about her feelings except Sensei. Sensei was the only person who asked for Charlotte's opinion and respected it. Sensei smiled, concluding that Charlotte's reason for not wanting to marry and committing double suicide with him made sense. Suddenly, Gomez threw down his iron helmet. Everyone turned to look at Gomez. Gomez's appearance changed, and he said that Charlotte indeed had a sharp sense of smell. Now, Gomez looked like a bull monster. He revealed his true form, which was actually a servant of the wrathful demon lord. Gomez planned to take over the kingdom by becoming its king and then handing it over to the demon lord. He didn't expect Charlotte to uncover his disguise. When Sensei asked if Charlotte had known about his disguise, it turned out that Charlotte hadn't realized it. She just thought Gomez smelled a bit. Gomez became even angrier, intending to kill everyone there. Tama tried to wake Annette, who was still unconscious, but she wouldn't wake up. The soldiers all ran towards Gomez to attack him, but Gomez easily defeated them all. Since Annette wouldn't wake up, Tama had to attack Gomez herself. She jumped and kicked him right in the head. It turned out Tama was a martial arts expert at level 14. Otto said he would also help by singing a song. Otto was a wandering minstrel at level 89. Tama was shocked to see Otto's high level. Otto started playing his musical instrument. Tama thought it was a buff skill, but nothing happened. Otto was just singing his newest song. Only Sensei seemed to enjoy the song. Suddenly, Gomez began his attack, targeting Tama. He ran very fast, aiming his horns at Tama. Quickly, Tama ducked and counterattacked by kicking and punching Gomez. But it seemed her attacks had no effect on Gomez. He then attacked with his horns, slightly grazing Tama. She became wary of Gomez's horns, as they were not only hard but also sharp. Gomez quickly prepared for another attack. Sensei suddenly told Gomez that he should kill him and Charlotte first since they already wanted to die. The king and Tama were, of course, very shocked by his statement. Gomez, with his sinister grin, laughed and agreed. After killing them both, Gomez planned to kill the king, burn the city, and slaughter all its inhabitants without leaving a trace. Sensei was firm in his resolve, but Charlotte seemed hesitant. Then, with all his strength, Gomez charged at Sensei and Charlotte, intending to gore them both. Tama and the king were powerless to act. Just before Gomez's horns could hit him, Charlotte said she didn't want to die yet. She wanted to live and protect the kingdom's people. Hearing this, Sensei sighed and said that was Charlotte's true desire. Charlotte was indeed a very kind-hearted princess. Sensei then pushed Charlotte away to protect her from Gomez's horns. Sensei stood still, ready to take the hit. Unexpectedly, Annette had regained consciousness and immediately used the spell Stout Barrier of Light, Shield, creating a shield that protected Sensei from Gomez's attack. Annette said that as long as she was by his side, she wouldn't let Sensei die. Annette turned out to be a priestess at level 18. Gomez kept trying to break through the shield Annette had made, but he couldn't, and it ended up breaking his horns. Gomez was thrown back. Tama seized the moment, leaping and using the attack Wildcat Strike right at Gomez's stomach, sending him flying back through the wall and into the middle of the lake. Tama and Annette felt very relieved. Unexpectedly, the king approached Charlotte and knelt, apologizing to her. He regretted forcing Charlotte to do something without considering her feelings. He realized that he was unfit to be both a king and Charlotte's father. With a smile, Charlotte forgave her father and expressed her desire to talk about the kingdom and their relationship. The king gladly agreed. Sensei smiled, remarking that he had failed to die once again. The next day, Charlotte had become the queen of the kingdom, ruling with great authority. The kingdom's soldiers respected and obeyed her. In a vast meadow, Tama and Annette were walking while pulling the coffin with Sensei inside. They discussed Charlotte, who, despite being only 16 years old, had made a significant decision by becoming a queen. From inside the coffin, Sensei said it was a decision Charlotte made herself, so they didn't need to worry about her. Sensei then remarked that dying women certainly are beautiful, but women who stand on their own 2 feet are also beautiful. Tama and Annette didn't care about that statement. They were more concerned about why Sensei wouldn't walk on his own 2 feet.